Have you ever been told you're too independent or too quiet? Society often misunderstands seniors who enjoy solitude, but the truth is, your love for alone time is a sign of powerful personality traits that most people don't realize. Have you ever been told you're too independent or too quiet? Society often misunderstands seniors who enjoy solitude, but the truth is, your love for alone time is a sign of powerful personality traits that most people don't realize. From deep thinking to emotional independence, these traits shape the way you experience life. Meet Walter, a 68-year-old retired teacher who has always enjoyed his own company. While some see his quiet nature and preference for solitude as loneliness, Walter sees it as a strength. He spends his mornings sipping coffee by the window, lost in thought, and his afternoons tending to his garden or reading a good book. He's not antisocial, he simply values his peace. Like Walter, many seniors naturally gravitate towards solitude, not because they're lonely, but because they thrive in it. And here's the thing. People who enjoy being alone often share 10 distinct personality traits that make them unique, wise, and incredibly self-sufficient. If you've ever preferred deep conversations over small talk, cherished your quiet routines, or felt completely at peace in your own space, you might relate to these traits. And number 7, it's something that even the most independent seniors don't realize about themselves. And if you enjoy content that speaks to your unique experiences, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights on life after 60. Trait 1. Deep thinkers. Walter wakes up early, as he has for years, and settles into his favorite chair by the window. In his hands, a book rests half open, but his eyes aren't on the pages. Instead, he watches the morning light filter through the trees, lost in thought. Some might think he's simply daydreaming, but Walter knows better. He's reflecting on life, on the past, on the little moments that once seemed small but now hold deep meaning. People who enjoy solitude often share this powerful trait. They are deep thinkers. They aren't just filling the silence with distractions, they embrace it, using it as a space to understand themselves and the world around them. While others might rush through life, constantly moving from one thing to the next, those who are comfortable alone take time to pause, reflect, and truly absorb their experiences. Deep thinkers often have a heightened sense of awareness. They notice details others miss, the way the seasons shift, the subtle emotions in someone's voice, the lessons hidden in everyday moments. They replay memories not with regret, but with curiosity, asking themselves, what did I learn? How have I grown? This habit allows them to make peace with the past and approach the future with clarity. Walter has found that his quiet moments of reflection bring him not just knowledge, but wisdom. He understands himself better than ever, what makes him happy, what drains his energy, what truly matters in life. He's learned that solitude isn't about loneliness, it's about self-discovery. And in this discovery, he's found a deep sense of contentment. In today's fast-paced world, many people struggle to sit alone with their thoughts. They seek distractions, endless scrolling, background noise, constant socializing. But those who embrace solitude have a unique advantage. They give their minds the space to process, to learn, and to grow. It's no surprise that some of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and philosophers cherished their alone time, because in silence, the mind finds its greatest clarity. And here's something important. Deep thinking doesn't mean overthinking. It's not about worrying endlessly or getting lost in regret. It's about giving yourself the freedom to explore your thoughts without judgment. It's about asking questions, seeking understanding, and appreciating life from a perspective that many overlook. Walter never feels bored when he's alone, because his mind is always active, exploring ideas, memories, and possibilities. His solitude isn't empty, it's rich with meaning. And if you, like Walter, enjoy those moments of quiet contemplation, you might just have this incredible trait too. Do you find yourself thinking more deeply about life as you get older? What's one lesson you've learned through self-reflection? Share it in the comments below. Trait 2, emotionally independent. Walter enjoys catching up with old friends now and then, but he doesn't feel the need to be surrounded by people all the time. He's never been the type to seek constant validation or depend on others to feel happy. While some assume he must be lonely, Walter knows the truth. He's completely content in his own company. This is a powerful trait shared by many seniors who enjoy solitude emotional independence. Unlike those who rely on external sources, whether it's social gatherings, approval from others, or constant entertainment, emotionally independent people find fulfillment within themselves. They don't need a packed schedule or a long list of acquaintances to feel valued. They know that true happiness doesn't come from outside forces, but from inner peace and self-acceptance. Walter has seen it happen time and time again. People clinging to relationships out of fear of being alone, jumping from one social event to the next just to avoid silence. But he's realized something important. Being comfortable alone is one of the greatest strengths a person can have. It means you're not easily shaken by loneliness, rejection, or the ever-changing nature of friendships. It means you can enjoy the presence of others, but you don't depend on them to feel whole. Emotional independence doesn't mean shutting people out. It simply means knowing that your well-being isn't tied to anyone else. It's about being able to enjoy solitude without feeling isolated. It's the ability to spend a quiet evening at home without needing someone to entertain you, to make decisions without seeking constant approval, and to trust your own judgment without second-guessing yourself. Walter loves his peaceful days, taking a morning walk, reading a good book, listening to music that moves him. He enjoys these things for himself, not because he needs someone to share them with. And when he does spend time with family or friends, he does so from a place of genuine connection, not obligation. That's the beauty of emotional independence. You appreciate relationships without feeling dependent on them. Not everyone understands this. Some assume that if you prefer alone time, it must mean you're lonely or withdrawn. But the truth is, emotionally independent people often have the most secure relationships because they engage with others by choice, not out of need. Their friendships and family bonds are built on mutual respect rather than dependence. And here's the key takeaway. When you don't rely on others for your happiness, you gain an incredible sense of freedom. You can navigate life with confidence, knowing that no matter who comes and goes, you are enough on your own. Walter wouldn't trade his independence for anything. He's spent years building a life that fulfills him, and that's a level of contentment that no amount of external validation can replace. If you, like Walter, find peace in solitude and happiness in your own company, then you possess one of the most valuable traits of all. Trait 3. Highly observant. Walter has always had a sharp eye for details. While others rush through their day, distracted by their to-do lists, he notices the little things, the way the leaves subtly change colour as the seasons shift, the gentle creases around a friend's eyes that hint at an untold story, the warmth in a stranger's voice when they speak of something they love. This is a common trait among seniors who enjoy solitude. They are highly observant. Being alone allows them to slow down, to truly see and feel the world in a way that others often overlook. Instead of being caught up in endless conversations or social distractions, they take the time to absorb their surroundings, to appreciate the small yet meaningful details that make life beautiful. Walter has learned that being observant is more than just noticing things, it's about understanding people. Over the years, he's developed a keen sense for reading emotions, spotting inconsistencies, and recognizing unspoken truths. He can tell when someone is putting on a brave face, but struggling inside. He notices when a friend is unusually quiet, sensing that something might be wrong before they even say a word. This makes him an excellent judge of character, allowing him to surround himself with people who genuinely uplift and support him. Highly observant people often see the world with more depth. While others may focus only on the surface, they perceive the layers beneath, the emotions, the changes, the subtleties of human behavior. This ability makes them more empathetic, more intuitive, and often more wise. But here's what makes this trait truly special. It enhances appreciation. Because observant people are more aware of their surroundings, they find joy in the smallest moments. A quiet sunrise, the laughter of children playing in the distance, the scent of fresh coffee in the morning. While others might take these things for granted, they recognize them as the simple, beautiful gifts of life. Walter never feels like life is passing him by because he's always paying attention. He doesn't need constant excitement to feel fulfilled. He finds richness in the everyday details that many people overlook. Whether it's the way his favorite chair feels perfectly molded to his back, or the peaceful sound of rain tapping against the window, he experiences life in full color, even in solitude. Being highly observant isn't just a passive skill, it's an active gift. It allows you to form deeper connections with the people who truly matter, to navigate relationships with greater understanding, and to find beauty in even the most ordinary moments. So if you've ever felt like you notice things that others don't, if you find joy in quiet observation rather than constant conversation, then you might have this incredible trait too. And that's something to be proud of. Trait 4. Selective with relationships. Walter has never been the kind of person who needs a large social circle. Over the years, he's realized that quality always matters more than quantity when it comes to relationships. While others might collect acquaintances, bouncing from one social group to the next, Walter has built something far more meaningful, a handful of close, trusted friendships that have stood the test of time. This is a defining trait of many seniors who enjoy solitude. They are highly selective about who they let into their lives. They've learned that not every connection is worth keeping, and that energy is too precious to waste on shallow or draining relationships. Instead of maintaining dozens of casual friendships, they invest in the few that truly matter, the ones built on trust, mutual respect, and deep understanding. Walter remembers a time when he felt the pressure to be more social, to say yes to every invitation, to maintain connections that didn't add real value to his life. But as he grew older, he realized something powerful. He doesn't need to prove himself to anyone. He would rather have 1 or 2 real friends than 100 acquaintances who don't truly know him. And here's the beauty of being selective with relationships. It creates deeper, more fulfilling connections. When you're not spreading yourself thin, you have more time and emotional energy to dedicate to the people who genuinely care about you. You build relationships that aren't based on convenience but on true connection. You surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries, appreciate your need for solitude, and add peace, not drama, to your life. This trait also means you're less likely to tolerate toxic relationships. People who enjoy solitude have no problem walking away from negativity, gossip, or one-sided friendships. They understand that life is too short to spend with those who drain their happiness. Instead, they focus on relationships that uplift them, that bring joy, and that feel effortless rather than forced. Walter cherishes the few strong friendships he has. A weekly phone call with an old colleague, an occasional coffee with a trusted friend. These simple moments mean far more to him than a crowded room full of people who barely know his story. He knows that true companionship isn't about how many people surround you, but about how deeply you connect with the ones who do. So if you find yourself valuing meaningful connections over surface-level interactions, if you prefer a heart-to-heart conversation with one good friend over a loud party filled with small talk, then you likely share this trait too. And that's a sign of wisdom, self-respect, and emotional maturity. But here's what's truly fascinating. The next trait on this list is what makes seniors who love solitude stand out even more. It's something that surprises even those who think they know themselves well. Stay with me, this one is truly unique. Trait 5. Strong sense of identity. Walter never cared much for following trends or trying to impress others. He doesn't buy the latest gadgets just because they're popular. He doesn't force himself to attend social events that don't interest him. And he certainly doesn't change his opinions just to fit in. That's because Walter has something rare in today's world, a strong sense of identity. He knows exactly who he is, what he enjoys, and what truly matters to him. He doesn't need external validation to feel secure in himself. This is one of the greatest gifts that solitude provides, the space to truly understand yourself. Many people spend their lives shaped by outside influences, family expectations, societal pressures, trends that come and go. But those who embrace solitude learn to listen to their own inner voice instead. They take time to reflect, to explore their own interests, and to form beliefs based on their own experiences rather than what others tell them to think. Walter remembers a time when he used to worry about fitting in. In his younger years, he cared about what people thought of him, whether he was saying the right thing, whether he was keeping up with what others were doing. But as he got older and spent more time alone, he realized something powerful. The only approval that truly matters is his own. People with a strong sense of identity don't feel the need to impress or conform. They know what makes them happy, and they aren't afraid to live life on their own terms. They dress for comfort, not to impress. They choose hobbies that genuinely interest them, not just ones that look good to others. They express their thoughts honestly, even if their opinions are different from the crowd. And here's what makes this trait so special. It brings an incredible sense of peace. When you stop chasing approval, life becomes simpler. You no longer feel the pressure to please everyone. You no longer waste energy worrying about what others think. Instead, you focus on what truly brings you joy, fulfillment, and purpose. Walter enjoys his days exactly as he pleases. He listens to the music he loves, even if it's not what's trending. He spends his time doing what makes him happy, whether it's gardening, reading, or simply enjoying a quiet afternoon. And most importantly, he doesn't feel the need to explain himself to anyone. He's comfortable in his own skin. If you, like Walter, have reached a point in life where you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others, where you embrace who you are, flaws and all, then you have one of the most powerful traits of all, a strong sense of identity. And here's the surprising part. The next trait on this list takes this self-assurance to an entirely different level. It's something that most people don't expect from those who love solitude. Stick around because this one is a real eye-opener. Have you reached a point in life where you feel completely comfortable with who you are? What's something about yourself that you've learned to embrace over the years? Trait 6. High levels of creativity. Walter never considered himself an artist, but over the years he found joy in creativity. He spends quiet afternoons tending to his garden, arranging flowers in ways that feel like living artwork. On rainy days he sits by his desk, jotting down stories from his past, not for anyone else, but simply because he enjoys it. Many seniors who enjoy solitude discover a strong creative side that flourishes in their quiet time. Without the constant distractions of a busy social life, their minds have the freedom to wander, explore and create. Whether it's painting, writing, woodworking, music or even cooking, they express themselves in ways that bring them joy. Creativity isn't just about making art, it's about seeing the world through a different lens. It's the ability to take ordinary moments and turn them into something meaningful. People who spend time alone often develop rich inner worlds where ideas flow freely, imagination thrives, and even simple activities become a form of self-expression. Walter remembers when he first started writing in a journal. At first it was just a way to collect his thoughts, but over time he realized he had stories worth telling. He began writing letters to his younger self, capturing lessons he wished he had known earlier. He even started crafting short stories based on people he had met throughout his life. Without any expectation of being published or recognized, he found pure joy in the act of creating. Many of history's greatest artists, writers and inventors were people who embraced solitude. Albert Einstein, George O'Keeffe, Henry David Thoreau, they all valued quiet time as a source of inspiration. Because when you're alone, you're not just filling the silence, you're using it. You're allowing yourself to explore ideas, reflect on experiences, and create something meaningful from within. But creativity isn't just about art. It's about problem solving too. People who enjoy solitude often develop a unique way of thinking, finding innovative solutions to challenges in everyday life. Whether it's figuring out how to fix something around the house, coming up with new ways to stay active, or experimenting with recipes in the kitchen, creativity is woven into everything they do. Walter has come to realize that creativity is a lifelong gift. It's not something that fades with age. It grows stronger when nurtured. And the best part? There's no right or wrong way to be creative. Whether it's painting, writing, knitting, or simply arranging the furniture in a way that feels fresh and new, every act of creativity is a celebration of individuality. So if you find yourself drawn to creative pursuits in your alone time, if you love getting lost in a good book, sketching doodles in the margins of a notebook, or even imagining new possibilities for your life, then you too have this remarkable trait. Trait 7. Dislike for small talk. Walter has never been a fan of shallow conversations. He finds little joy in talking about the weather for the 10th time that week, or discussing the latest celebrity gossip. Instead, he craves conversations with depth, talks about life, personal experiences, dreams, and lessons learned along the way. This is a common trait among people who enjoy solitude. They dislike small talk and prefer meaningful discussions. They don't mind silence, and they certainly don't feel the need to fill every quiet moment with words. To them, conversations should have substance, a real exchange of thoughts, not just empty chatter. Walter remembers attending a family gathering where most of the conversations revolved around surface-level topics, sports scores, who bought a new car, and idle gossip. He nodded politely, but inside he longed for a conversation that actually meant something. Later that evening, he ended up talking to his niece, who shared her dreams of starting a new career in her 50s. That was the kind of conversation he cherished, one filled with depth, vulnerability, and real human connection. People who prefer alone time often have rich inner worlds and spend a lot of time reflecting on life. Because of this, they naturally seek conversations that stimulate their minds and feed their souls. They enjoy talking about personal growth, history, philosophy, or even the mysteries of the universe. They would rather have one deep, thought-provoking discussion than a dozen meaningless exchanges. But this trait often leads to misunderstandings. Others might see them as quiet or disengaged, when in reality, they are just selective about how they spend their energy. They aren't antisocial, they simply don't enjoy conversations that feel forced or superficial. They prefer fewer words with more meaning rather than constant chatter that leads nowhere. And here's something interesting. This trait actually makes them great listeners. Because they don't feel the need to talk just for the sake of talking, they tend to listen more deeply when someone is saying something important. They absorb details, remember meaningful moments, and respond in a way that shows they truly care. Walter has learned that it's okay to step away from conversations that don't resonate with him. He knows that real connections aren't built on small talk. They're built on shared experiences, deep understanding, and the willingness to be open and real. And when he does find someone who enjoys meaningful conversations as much as he does, it creates a bond that lasts a lifetime. So if you've ever felt drained by small talk or found yourself craving deeper discussions, you're not alone. It's not about being unsocial, it's about valuing your time and energy, and that's a trait worth embracing. Do you prefer deep conversations over small talk? What's a topic you could talk about for hours? Share your thoughts in the comments. But here's where it gets really interesting. The next trait on this list is one that most people don't expect from those who love solitude. It's a surprising strength that sets them apart in a way few realize. Stick around, you won't want to miss this one. Trait 8. Greater resilience. Walter has faced his fair share of challenges. He's experienced loss, navigated major life changes, and overcome difficult moments that would have broken some people. But through it all, he has learned to rely on his own strength. He doesn't run from hardships or seek constant reassurance from others. He faces life head-on, knowing that he has the inner resources to get through anything. This is a defining trait of people who enjoy solitude. They develop a deep sense of resilience. Spending time alone teaches you how to be self-sufficient. When you're comfortable in your own company, you don't depend on others to solve your problems or lift you up in tough times. You learn to process emotions on your own, reflect on solutions, and push forward without always needing external validation. Walter remembers when he lost his wife years ago. It was the most painful experience of his life, and for a while the loneliness felt unbearable. But instead of seeking distractions or filling the silence with meaningless noise, he allowed himself to grieve, to sit with his emotions, and to gradually find his own way through the pain. He learned how to be okay with solitude, how to find comfort in routine, and how to keep moving forward, one step at a time. This kind of resilience is something that develops over years of learning to trust yourself. People who embrace solitude know that no matter what life throws at them, they can handle it. They have developed coping skills that allow them to weather emotional storms without falling apart. But here's the key difference. Being resilient doesn't mean never feeling pain. It means knowing that even when things get tough, you will find a way through. It means understanding that challenges are temporary, that growth comes from hardship, and that you are far stronger than you ever realized. Walter has come to see his independence as a sign of his strength. He knows that while it's nice to have support from others, he doesn't need constant reassurance to keep going. He trusts his own wisdom, his own experiences, and his own ability to adapt. If you too have faced life's ups and downs and learned to handle them in your own way, your independence is proof of your incredible strength. You've built resilience not by avoiding hardships, but by facing them and growing from them. Have you ever gone through a difficult time that made you realize how strong you really are? What's a life lesson that has helped you become more resilient? Share your thoughts in the comments. But here's where things get even more surprising. The next trait on this list is something that most people don't associate with those who enjoy solitude. In fact, it's a hidden advantage that can change the way you see yourself. Stay with me, you won't want to miss this one. Trait 9. Love for routine. Every morning, Walter wakes up at the same time, brews a fresh cup of coffee, and sits by his favorite window as the sun rises. He takes a walk through the neighborhood, greeting the same familiar faces, feeling the crisp air on his skin. In the evenings, he unwinds with a book or his favorite classical music, ending his day with a sense of calm. Walter doesn't find routine boring, he finds it comforting, and he's not alone. People who enjoy solitude often develop a deep love for routine. Unlike those who crave constant excitement and change, they find joy in simple, predictable rituals that bring a sense of peace and stability. Their routines aren't about restriction, they're about creating a life that feels balanced and fulfilling. In a world that glorifies spontaneity and busyness, many people overlook the power of routine. But research shows that having daily habits can reduce stress, improve mental well-being, and create a stronger sense of control over life. For seniors in particular, a steady routine can bring structure to the day, prevent feelings of aimlessness, and even improve sleep and cognitive function. Walter has seen this firsthand. When he retired, he initially struggled with the sudden lack of structure. Without a job to wake up for, he felt lost. But over time, he built a daily rhythm that gave his days purpose. His morning coffee, his afternoon walks, his quiet evenings. They weren't just habits, they were moments of peace that made life enjoyable. People who appreciate alone time tend to be mindful of how they spend their days. They don't rush through life in a blur of distractions. Instead, they savor the simple moments, the warmth of the sun in the morning, the familiar scent of their home, the quiet satisfaction of a well-prepared meal. And here's the best part. Routine doesn't mean monotony. It doesn't mean doing the same thing every single day without change. It means creating a rhythm that works for you, a structure that brings comfort while leaving room for spontaneity when you want it. Walter knows that no matter what happens in life, his routine is there to ground him. It's a source of stability, comfort, and self-care. And that's why so many people who enjoy solitude embrace this trait. It allows them to move through life with a sense of peace and intention. Do you have a daily routine that brings you peace? What's one habit you couldn't go without? Share it in the comments below. And now we've reached the final trait. This last one ties everything together and reveals something truly special about those who love their alone time. Trait 10. Inner peace. Walter sits on his porch in the evening, watching the sky turn shades of orange and purple. There's no noise, no distractions, just the quiet hum of life around him. He doesn't feel lonely, he feels at peace. After years of living on his own terms, Walter has discovered something many people spend a lifetime chasing: inner peace. People who enjoy solitude often develop a deep sense of contentment within themselves. They don't need constant entertainment, social validation, or external approval to feel happy. Their fulfillment comes from within. They have learned to enjoy their own company, and that's a rare and powerful trait. In a world that constantly pushes people to stay busy, be social, and seek endless stimulation, finding peace in solitude is almost like a superpower. It means you're not controlled by fear of being alone. It means you have reached a level of emotional and mental strength where silence feels comforting, not threatening. Walter used to think that happiness was about having more friends, more activities, more distractions. But over time, he realized that true happiness isn't about filling every moment with noise. It's about being content in the quiet. It's about understanding yourself so well that you don't need outside validation to feel whole. People with this trait don't just survive alone, they thrive. They wake up with a sense of purpose, enjoy their daily rituals, and appreciate life's small moments. They don't seek relationships out of fear of being alone. They build connections that truly add value to their lives. And the most inspiring part, anyone can develop this trait. Inner peace isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate by embracing solitude, letting go of unnecessary stress, and focusing on what truly matters. Walter knows that his life isn't perfect. There are challenges, there are losses, there are moments of sadness, but through it all he remains centered, content, and at peace with himself. So if you found yourself nodding along to these traits, it's not a coincidence. It means you've built a life that truly suits you, a life where you feel comfortable, fulfilled, and in control of your happiness. Some people misunderstand solitude, thinking it equals loneliness. But the truth is, alone doesn't mean lonely. It means you know your worth. It means you don't need constant noise, distractions, or validation to feel whole. You've discovered the power of your own company, and that's something to be proud of. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these traits do you relate to the most? Let's start a conversation in the comments. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this today.